Alright, we're on the 12th video, the 12th movie for our Mummy-athon. I know last video I promised another movie that I didn't have fond memories of, but I found this film, and it technically came out before this one, and I'm trying to go in order when these movies were released. So, the next movie is 1970's Assignment Terror. Let's see, no. That's not the name for this movie. What's the name for this movie? Oh god, no. Oh god, no. Frankenstein versus Dracula. I remember this film now. I got this movie a long time ago. Back when Rite Aid was still a thing. It was Halloween, I think, or at least around this season, and they had a couple VHSs out for you to, pick up and buy, and I found this one, and it was this cover art. It said Dracula versus Frankenstein. I thought the cover looked cool, I thought it looked really interesting, so I went home, popped it in, and I could barely see a thing. The picture and audio were just so bad, the movie was literally unwatchable. I was sitting in front of the TV straining to try to understand what was going on. But what is the plot? What is the plot? I dare tell you. I will tell you what the plot is. It follows a bunch of aliens possessing the bodies of dead scientists, bringing back the classic monsters in order to take over the world and understand humanity's weaknesses. I put this film on the list first because I found this movie in the list of mummy films. Like, most of the monsters are barely in this movie. Even Dracula and the Frankenstein monster, which are advertised in one of the titles. And when they are on the screen, they're total bitches. They're useless. They're useless monsters. The secondary plot of the film is these detectives trying to figure out the plot. Like, oh, monsters are coming back. I don't think they ever figure out they're aliens. It's just there kind of to waste time because I don't know what they're even going to do. These characters. I mean, like, you have the young detective, we have, I think, scientists who killed the Wolfman some time ago, but now that Wolfman's back, and his daughter has a thing for the young detective, and there's a couple nice scenes in there, a couple nice good scenes in there, but most of the other characters, I don't know, maybe it was the audio, because the audio still sounds kind of janky, even with the copy on Tubi that I found. Michael Rennie from The Day the Earth Stood Still plays Dr. Warnoff, the alien leader. His whole thing is to keep his crew from succumbing to their new human emotions. This is the only interesting plot line in this film. Watching them succumb to these feelings, it being the main reason for their destruction, is kind of interesting. I mean, it's not played perfectly, but you can see these detached beings learning to become human, learning sympathy, learning love, and it kind of culminates into the very end with a twist that I didn't see coming. I mean, literally throughout the whole movie, I'm just kind of apathetic and kind of had to force myself to pay attention because I wanted a mummy movie. I mean, got to the very end, I literally gasped, wait, what? That's the twist? There's a twist? Wait, you're doing that? You're doing that? I mean, it's not the biggest twist in the world, but I didn't see it coming, and Michael Rennie plays it off really good. And I'm not even sure why one of the titles for this movie is Dracula versus Frankenstein. The vampire never fights the monster. The monster only fights the Wolfman, and he doesn't even put up that good of a fight. The mummy fights better. I think the mummy fought the Wolfman, and it was a pretty good scrap. Apparently this film is in a series that follows the Wolfman character, and this is I want to say the second or third film? I couldn't figure that one out. You can kind of tell because he's the only monster with a character. You can see his human half gets, I don't say development, but a personality. But yeah, like, the monsters in this movie really suck. When they released the Mummy, it's a kind of a cool scene, like how they kind of set it up. They had to go through these kind of, was it like a trap or something? It was like the Mummy, who a pharaoh, can only be brought back to life because of this artifact, and he can only serve and do this. Being the vampire, they're draining him of his blood. Like, they're trying to figure out how he works, and they just have him locked up in this kind of like a tower. I didn't know where they stored him, but when he comes back, he's like in this classic looking house trying to suck one of the alien humans, and he just gets repelled so easily. And I can't remember, they said it was Dracula. I want to say they said it was Dracula. It's one of the worst Draculas I've ever seen. He dies so pathetically. His resurrection was good. It's kind of like House of Frankenstein, where they just take the steak out of the skeleton and it just comes back to life. And the audio is still kind of janky. Alien subplot, or main plot, is very interesting. I wish the whole film was about that. These detectives and scientists are trying to stop the aliens, but don't even know they're aliens. I could have done without that. I found those characters the most, not annoying, but like, okay, that's interesting, but you're in a way of something far more interesting. Please move to the side. Apparently, the movie, I had to look this up because when they were talking about the Frankenstein monster, they called him like the Frankenstein monster.
The being created by Phalanxalon. He too has no heart, no blood, no feeling.
And I was like, why doing that? Frankenstein's in public domain. Why are they personally messing up the name? And then I looked it up, that apparently the makeup team basically did their own version of the Universal Monster Frankenstein, and that baby is copyrighted. Or to try to get through the copyright system, they just called the monster by a different name. As far as I can tell, it worked, or maybe they didn't feel this movie was worth trying to sue or copyright. But yeah, Assignment Terror is a very weird movie. I didn't like it, but I don't say I hated it either. It's just very, very ambitious and very, very low budget. Maybe I'll appreciate this in the future. But like I said, it's on Tubi, so if anything I said sounds interesting to you, please go check it out. You might like it. You might like it more than I did. And this movie needs some love. It needs someone to love it. So next time we are coming up with another Hammer classic. So let's check that out in the next video. Bye bye.